to mention just but a few, as well as TLBs, telehandlers, to mention but a few. The range is quite big, and anything that you want, if we don't have it in stock, we'll order it for you. So the motto for Amcots, if you ask me, is tires, equipment, parts. Parts is backup for all the stuff that we sell. So be it a Shackman, be it an XCMG, be it an FAW truck, we've got backup for it. We've got a fully fledged workshop that runs and does maintenance on vehicles that are bought from us. And it also offers breakdown services at an agreeable rate, which customers have also been happy with. But not to say a lot, so we've got a workshop department that looks after the trucks as part of our after sales thing. This is where we do all the servicing and warranty issues and backup of everything that's required on anything that you've bought from us, be it the Shackman trucks, be it the XCMG equipment, or even the PowerTech tractors. We've got a workshop that works Mondays to Saturdays and is available for any breakdown assistance in whatever part of the country. We've also got a branch that's located in Buluwayo that covers workshop and new truck and tire sales. And we've also got a branch in Mutare, but we are in the process of setting it up. There's a lot of things that are exciting that are forthcoming in the year. Some of them I won't preempt, but I can tell you that you can look forward to a new shop opening up in either one or two locations in some part of the country during the course of the year. Amcot guarantees quality products that speak for themselves. And as I say, if you want to know more about us, feel free to visit us on our website, www.amcots.com, or come through to us in Masasa, 32 Anthony Avenue, Masasa, Harare, Buluwayo, 11 Bristol Road in Belmont. That'll be us. Thank you.
You are watching Newsplus. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, this Tuesday, the Monetary Policy Committee issued a statement maintaining a tight monetary policy stance to sustain economic stability. This was after the committee met on Monday. Now, the bank policy rate remains at 35% per annum, with reserve requirements unchanged. Adoption of the ZiG currency continues to rise, now accounting for 43% of transactions, supported by gold, minerals, and forex reserves. Now, inflation remains under control, with projections showing it closing below 30% by year end. The committee also discontinued non-negotiable certificates of deposit and suspended gold coin sales, though coins in circulation remain tradable. Foreign reserves stand at $701 million, and the willing buyer, willing seller forex system remains effective. 392 million ZiG has been dispersed under the targeted finance facility to boost production, with a focus on improving access to affordable credit. Now let's take a look at some of the highlights. Now we speak to Eben Mabunda. Eben, what do you make of this set of resolutions?
Good evening. Well, the central bank has pretty much maintained a tight liquidity stance. While in that particular statement, there are one or two new updates that would be of interest. But by and large, the tight monetary stance adopted by the central bank remains very much in place. Of course, the policy rate has been kept there at 35%, which of course is the benchmark rate, and several other instruments have remained pretty much as they were. There would be one or two elements of interest, including the scrapping off of the non-negotiable certificates of deposits, pretty much the short term, the 7 day, 14 days, 21 days, which have been set aside. Now, in this specific day also we saw another statement speaking to the gold coins to the effect that there will not be the issuance of new gold coins onto the market. However, those that remain within the market are still pretty much tradable. So these would be the key elements, and also of relevance is the fact that from the targeted financing facility, about 15 million US dollars worth of funds have been disbursed in what appears to be a careful strategy of extending credit to the productive sectors of the economy. At the same time, the country's foreign currency reserves, including of course the minerals, are valued at about 700 million US dollars. So these are the key elements by and large of this particular resolution statement from the Monetary Policy Committee.
Now, Eben, central bank stresses that the ZiG has been stable. Will this be sustained?
Well, what you'll find is that a tight stance has been maintained in a bid to reinforce the stability of the domestic currency. Of course, from that statement, an indication that where formal payments are concerned, there's been an increase from 26% to 43%. However, it's important to note that this remains one of the world's most informalized economies. In fact, the second most informalized economy behind Bolivia. So we do not as yet have the figures or the statistics in terms of how things are playing out in the informal quarters of the economy. But from what we are seeing, there has been that increase. Again, a statement was issued on Friday indicating that ZiG has been put out to the banks, and so mechanisms are in place to try and see how there can be a wider circulation of the domestic currency. The willing buyer, willing seller remains very much in place, but of course from the International Monetary Fund calls to reinforce that very regime in place, make it somewhat more liberal, and of course to see the wider adoption of the domestic currency. Interest rates pretty much kept at 35%. That's pretty much high, with productive sectors calling for a revision. However, with inflation stats in ZiG terms having come in at 92%, central bank is closely monitoring that, with an indication, according to the central bank, that we will see inflation taper off to below 30%. But then again, it remains to be seen. But strong calls for the wider adoption of the domestic currency. Much as there has been an indication of stability, it would be more beneficial for there to be stability with a wider adoption by the market.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening. That was Eben Mabunda, our business correspondent, unpacking the latest statement by the Monetary Policy Committee for us. Now, government is working on accelerating the homegrown smart traffic management system meant to address unwarranted traffic congestion, road accidents, and traffic law violations. This innovative system utilizes advanced technologies such as the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, AI, and big data analytics to enhance traffic flow, road safety, and transparency.
The system is capable of identifying vehicles through captured images and videos, as well as through an integrated database in terms of the Zimbabwe National Road Administration, the Central Vehicle Registry, and the Civil Registry. It detects a wide range of traffic infractions, including red light violations, speeding, disobeying and violating stop signs, wrong way driving, illegal parking, failure to wear seat belts, traffic signs or road markings violations, improper lane changes, and many other traffic violations. It then notifies violators and enables them to review evidence of the offense.
Public servants will be required to disclose their assets to the Corporate Governance Unit as per the dictates of the Public Entities Corporate Governance Act, in the interest of transparency and for avoidance of conflict of interest. This comes after government approved the Public Service Amendment Bill under the legislative program with the view of improving the welfare of the employees. Speaking during post-cabinet briefing, Information Minister Dr. Jenfan Muswere said the Public Service Commission will ensure that there will be no no discrimination when considering candidates for appointment or promotion.
The bill further provides that the management and supervision of the public servants employed in any ministry, department, or other division of the public service shall be the responsibility of the permanent secretary, subject to the direction of the line minister on the advice of the commission. The bill also provides for the supervision of the permanent secretaries by the chief secretary.
And Minister Muswere also said government has considered the national gender policy aimed to promote gender equality and women's empowerment in Zimbabwe, recognizing the diversity of different groups and the needs to address stereotypes and prejudice about gender roles. The policy's objective is to promote gender equality and equity in all sectors, set national priorities, provide a guiding framework for gender mainstreaming, and strengthen coordinated planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of gender-related programs.
The policy is guided by the following principles: promoting equality and non-discrimination, leaving no one behind, doing no harm, inclusion of persons living with disability, respecting non-harmful customary, cultural and religious practices involving males and females, and ensuring accountability.
SADC countries have been implored to invest in education and innovation. This came out during the SADC joint meeting of ministers responsible for education, training, science, technology and innovation in Harare today. The first day of the meeting was attended by senior officials who will focus on reviewing policies, regulatory frameworks and the implementation status of programs within respective sectors. Addressing delegates at the event, Zimbabwe's Permanent Secretary for Higher and Tertiary Education, Professor Fano Tagwira, who is chairing the summit, emphasized the need to strengthen existing education frameworks.
To the SADC Secretariat, you continue to develop and deliver impactful milestones, and we are truly grateful. We will continue to encourage member states to support you to ensure that education and training, science and technology and innovation is strengthened. As senior officials, we are the architects of implementation of government policies. Let us adopt the revised TVET strategic framework 2024 to 2030 to align with labor markets. Let us endorse the SADC qualifications framework, the Credit Accumulation Transfer System CAT, and the Recognition of Prior Learning RPL guidelines so that we can fast-track regional referencing.
Now, Harare City Council is not backing down in its quest to recover 6.6 billion ZiG it is owed by residents and businesses across the city. The council says the blitz to collect these debts is underway, starting with the Central Business District, and there is more to come. Talent Gore spoke to the Harare City's Council Acting Revenue Collection Manager.
For years, the Harare City Council has been accused of poor service delivery. From piles of uncollected garbage, burst sewer to dry taps, residents feel neglected by the city fathers. However, the City Council says the root cause is simply due to residents and businesses not honoring their bills, and it's mounting to their financial woes. They say they can't let that continue, signaling a new era where payments will be enforced in a bid to keep services up and running. City of Harare Acting Revenue Collection Manager Alfred Guni says the message is clear: pay up or face the consequences.
So currently the City of Harare is owed around 6.6 billion by ratepayers and those that consume services from the City of Harare. And of the 6.6 billion, nearly $500 million is owed by those that are domiciled within the CBD. What the City of Harare is doing to recover the 6.6 billion, we are starting an operation, a blitz operation within the CBD. What we want to do, or what we have done already, is that we have served notices for disconnections.
As of 17 June 2025, the city had successfully disconnected water from 50 properties due to non-payment, a strong warning to those falling further into arrears.
We have already disconnected 50 properties as of this day, and what we are doing is we are following up for those properties that have been disconnected with our team from the Department of Health Services, shutting down and closing off the shops, because in terms of the public health laws, they are not supposed to operate without water. So once the shops are closed off, we are going to push next to make sure that they pay what they owe in the city of Harare.
Guni says if the Blitz fails to produce results, those who owe will face legal action in court.
Through the messenger of court, so we'll be serving summons from the messenger of court to those businesses that are not paying their rates and services. We have had few instances where we even had to attach property of the businesses in order to recover our rates for services that are owed. And we are not going to stop until we recover what we are owed.
Guni added that council is empowered by legislation to sell properties in order to recover what is owed. He also called on businesses to avoid falling victim to fraud, noting that the council does not employ any middlemen to collect payments.
We also do not have any middlemen that go around licensing on our behalf. All City of Harare payments are paid through our banking halls or through our mobile banking platforms or through the customers' mobile banking platforms from their banks. We discourage instances where people pay off our staff in order to be pardoned.
Harare City Council says it's left with no choice but to pursue all available measures to ease its financial pressures, ensuring continued service delivery for the people of Harare. For ZTN Prime, I am Talent Gore in Harare.
Now, to give us an insight on this new development, we are joined by the combined Harare Residents Association chairperson, Ruben Akili. Good evening and thank you for being with us tonight. How do you think this blitz by Harare City Council is going to affect ordinary residents and businesses within Harare?
Our worry is, the mechanisms or the systems within the local authorities, probably when you look at licensing, probably even when you look at those who are supposed to administer some of the recommendations or the provisions which are in the blitz, we see it as a breeding ground for corruption. We have seen even over time where even residents, water disconnections have been, mad with corruption, where even people, the municipal officials would then demand bribes for them not to be able to effect the water disconnections. Again, even in the business licensing, we have seen municipal officials, once in a while doing the so-called blitz, but at the end of the day, you realize because there is money changing hands, and even at the end of the day, the revenue is not going to be realized by the local authority. So it's very, very important for us to be able to understand that first, so that at the end of the day, we can be able then to come up with a clear solution to this whole crisis. And again, the debts, like when you look at the debts which the local authority is claiming in mostly, I'll go to the resident side, they are premised on a faulty, shambolic, billing system.
Sorry, Ruben, I have to interrupt you there. Could you just tell us what the council has to do to ensure that residents are paying their rates and are also compliant with city bylaws?
Thank you so much for that. I will start with the issues around payment of rates. We really need to have, I would say, a clear, billing system. People have lost confidence in the financial system of the local authority because some residents are even paying right now and the monies are not deducted. So the first port of call, like even the mayor of Harare attributed that they don't have a functional ERP, and meaning that the billing system is not intact. So again, this is the first area which the local authority needs to address, and when they address this, I will tell you that it then creates confidence amongst the residents, and so that they can also be paying for service provided. And furthermore to that, when people are paying rates, they are paying rates to ensure that there is service provision. So even the monies which they are getting, even as much as they say there's 60% or 50% collection efficiency, the monies they are getting, I think it's also need to go a long way in ensuring that service provision. Even services are provided, but again, if they concentrate on paying salaries at the expense of service delivery, residents will not see the reason of paying the rates. Hence, we have this impasse.
Thank you very much, Ruben. Appreciate your time. Now, when Newsplus returns, we'll give you more updates on what's happening locally.
Asilwela ukunqoba kuphela, kepha silwela ukwakha isizwe esinohlonze. Sekunjalo.
You're watching Tuesday's edition of Newsplus. Now, moving on with our local stories. Former Tourism Minister Walter Mzembe will remain in custody after Harare Magistrate Donald Ndirowe dismissed his application to cancel outstanding warrants of arrest and formally revoked his bail. The court ruled that the 3 warrants stemming from his repeated failure to appear in court remain valid, with one linked to a 2018 case involving allegations of criminal abuse of office. Mzembe was apprehended last Friday by the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, ZAC, and brought before the court following his non-compliance with court appearances. The state also revealed that the full case docket is yet to be located. A possible trial date has been set for 1 July 2025, pending further developments. Now, the trial of businessmen Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu was postponed today, yet again, to June 30 after the judge revealed that one of his assessors was not feeling well. He stated that this is a matter of illness and cannot predict if the assessor will recover this week, and postponed the matter to next week. The trial is expected to continue on June 30, with the judge expected to deliver his ruling on whether the trial proceedings with or without the bidding document. The 2 businessmen are accused of defrauding the government of $7.7 million in the presidential Gold Pass-On Scheme program. Now, stakeholders have taken the fight against drug and substance abuse to schools through a cocktail of measures, including essay writing competitions for learners. This came to light during a ZTN Voices Against Drug and Substance Abuse essay competition and prize-giving ceremony at Nyatsime College last Friday. The competition, which was organized by ZTN in partnership with the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, Chitungwiza District, had 400 students from different schools and colleges participating.
In a world where peer pressure and addiction continue to take a toll, a group of determined students is taking a bold step. They are not just writing essays, but they are crafting powerful messages against drug and substance abuse. Harare Provincial Education Director Joram Mponza says such initiatives are part of a cocktail of measures being put in place.
I think this is very important, that we also come up with a cocktail of measures, a plethora of measures to fight drug and substance abuse. And I'm happy that here in Chitungwiza ZTN, together with the district office for Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, collaborated to come up with an essay writing competition. This is very strategic. This is very effective because, when learners then involve themselves in seeking information, in seeking knowledge, in research, in order to come up with papers that some of whom have received awards today, they get to understand the dangers. They get to see the reasons why government, the private sector, everybody is fighting drugs and substance abuse.
Students who participated in the competition believe it will deal with the menace and send the message to their colleagues.
The issue is very concerning, and raising my awarenesses, that's a step towards a reduction of the use, because my drugs are not kanganisa.
Macampaigns anotibatsira kuti tiite zvechikoro, tisave vana vanongorasika rasika.
I think the government should intervene and help such organizations like Junior Council to help them push the awareness of drugs.
Medicines Control Authority of Zimbabwe's Davison Kahio says the Easter competition has depth in the fight against drugs and substance abuse, calling for more ideas led by students to be put in place.
If we catch them young, as they say, catch them young, and the young people and the children, students, these are actually quite a good vehicle and the right platform for us to use to make sure that the message of anti-drug and substance abuse reaches every corner of the country.
One of the partners, FBC Health Service Development, has created a product for students that covers drug and substance use.
The drug and substance abuse has been a menace in our society. I'm sure it's now a national disaster where everyone is supposed to take part in curbing this spread of this cancer in our society. So as FBC Health, the product that we are offering to schools, colleges and universities is tailored to meet these special needs of our students.
Despite communities suffering from the shadow of substance abuse, students are shining the light of hope. Their words have the power to change minds, save lives, and foster a new generation committed to a drug-free future. Latuo Nyangu for ZN Prime in Chitungwezi.
We now take a look at what's happening in the world around us. Rwanda has received 70 southern white rhinos from South Africa on Monday in an effort to help restore the species population in the region. The animals arrived in the country via a chartered Boeing 747 and were transported to the Akagera National Park in eastern Rwanda, where they were settled in a temporary enclosure at a secure boma in the heart of the park to acclimatize for 6 months. The translocation was conducted in 2 phases, with 35 rhinos in each stage, according to local officials.
It's a really technical exercise that we're doing, taking 35 animals, 35 rhino from northern KwaZulu-Natal, and releasing them in Akagera. We did that in 3 days, and then we did it again 3 days later. It is fair to say the rhino in southern Africa are under great threat from poaching and illegal trade. Now that we have a herd established here, or we will have it established in the coming months and years, it can form a long-term gene pool in the event of a disaster elsewhere on the African continent.
Now, the deadly conflict between Israel and Iran entered its 5th day on Tuesday, with both sides continuing to launch attacks from Monday night into Tuesday morning. According to reporters on the ground in Tehran, several explosions were heard in the Iranian capital early on Tuesday morning as air defense systems were activated to intercept aerial targets. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said in a statement that Iran had launched a new round of missile attacks towards Israel, while the Israeli defense system was attempting to intercept incoming threats as sirens sounded across central and southern Israel. Meanwhile, a global oil market expert based in Dubai has responded to the concerns that the Middle East oil supply could be disrupted as the conflict between Israel and Iran intensifies, particularly after Israel hit a major gas field in Iran. Israel has said that these strikes could last for several weeks. The potential for a drawn-out conflict has sparked concern among global investors that Iran might close one of the world's most important oil choke points located between Oman and Iran.
this region is responsible for a lot of the production or supplies that go to the market. So it's very vulnerable when we're looking at oil markets here. So far, according to Kepler's data, and we monitor all the shipping that takes place out of all ports in the region and worldwide. So far, I mean, this is only impacting domestic supply in Iran. Iran exports around 1.7 million barrels a day. And yes, OPEC does have that spare capacity. It still has a cushion of spare capacity. That would be a catastrophic scenario. The closure of Hormuz is very, very significant. I still believe that it's very unlikely that Iran takes this step. I know that there have been kind of threats, but these are from low-level officials. Therefore, I don't think it's a very likely option that they close off the strait. And if that happens, I mean, we've seen statements in the past from the Fifth Fleet that they would immediately intervene and unblock the strait. 20% of the world's oil travels through the Strait of Hormuz, so that's quite a big volume. And you have pipelines in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, that can divert some of this oil out. Around 6 million or 6.5 million barrels a day could be diverted. But that would send oil prices into the 3-digit zone, and I don't think anyone in the US or Europe would like to see that, and the impact it would have on global demand as well.
Now on to the US. Thousands of protesters rallied across downtown Los Angeles in California, joining a nationwide wave of No Kings protests against immigration raids and what organizers describe as a shift toward authoritarianism under US President Donald Trump. The protest was timed to coincide with Flag Day and Trump's 79th birthday, as he hosted a military-style parade in Washington, D.C. Now, for many, the protests were about standing up against immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, and Trump's actions against immigrants in the country. Demonstrators say they saw the parade as an affront to American values. It's time for us to take a look at what's happening in the economic landscape.
Crowd goes absolutely emphatic.
Get ready for more on Supersport, the only place to watch all the FIFA Club World Cup.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
We've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Edgar's Limited has to date spent over $1.2 million in a retooling exercise at its carousel manufacturing unit in Bulawayo over a period of at least 12 months. The plant is a hub for modern fashion designs, producing high-quality clothes and supplying its 3 main chain stores, Edgar's, Jet, and Express stores countrywide, as well as servicing exports. Speaking at the country's recent analyst briefing, Carousel Manufacturing Managing Director Menfrita Nyanyua said the retooling of Carousel will bring efficiency to the group's operations.
It was important that we retool to ensure that we improve the execution of the stitching in our garments, and of course, yes, to also ensure that we have the machinery we need to support production. So we invested in sewing machines, fusing machines, printers, etc. But the latest addition to our retooling exercise is the cutting room solution. And we are happy to say that we got some tremendous support out of RBZ via the banks. We got that funding via the TFF that facility. I think we're giving something around 10 million ZIG, and that's what we are using to fund the cutting room solution. It's going to dramatically change how we produce at the factory. So nearly 1.2 million expended last year.
60% of Zimbabwe's clothing needs are being serviced by mushrooming informal boutiques and Zimbabwe's second-hand clothing market. This, plus a shift in clothing trends, has warranted innovation around the group's market offering. In response, Edgar's is developing fresh designs targeted toward the Gen Z and millennials through its research and development efforts.
What is critical, and also what we've done behind the scenes, is to try and be relevant to these generations that are saying we're not in the Edgar's segment, per se. So we are working with Carousel to establish a fully fledged R&D research department there. We are increasing the young fashion designers. I'm sure some of you have seen us in our fashion extravaganza. We work with the young local designers. So we actually now put them in the factory to try and improve the skills and commercialize their skills. At the same time, becoming relevant to the market through their design. So that is something that we're really trying to push, to grow our own fashion that our own people want in the sizes that our people want. We are looking at shops the same as in the region and internationally. That's what Edgar's is there to position, to cater for that clientele that is aspiring to be right at the top. So their quality is never compromised. The fabrications that Manfrey was talking about, and exclusivity. And exclusivity comes in the way that we have our own internal brands that we are selling that you will not get anywhere else.
EcoCash Holdings Zimbabwe is set to rebrand as TN Cybertech Investments Holdings Limited after shareholders approved the name change during the extraordinary general meeting held on June 13, 2025. The new identity, reflecting a tech-driven and future-focused investment direction, will become official upon issuance of a change of name certificate by the Registrar of Companies. Trading under the new name is expected to begin on 23 July, following a finalization announcement on 15 July. The rebrand is seen as aligning more closely with founder Tawanda Nyambirai's tech ambitions, signaling a strategic shift toward digital innovation and diversified investments. Now that story rounds up our business segment. Up next is sport.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J. All right.
Put your seatbelt on.
Caps United President Farai Jere met players at their training today to give them encouragement ahead of their clash with Moz at Ngoni Stadium on Thursday. After managing back-to-back wins in their past games against Manica Diamonds and Chicken Inn, Jere is optimistic the boys will deliver again. The Caps president also said Moz are a smaller group and their unbeaten run was motivation enough for the boys.
So this is what I was reminding them, that they just have to go and play for the page. We are not going to increase their winning bonuses, because for a small team to go for 15 matches, unbeaten. That should be a motivation for them. We are Cape United. We are much bigger than most. And this is the only message which I was sharing with the boys. I wanted to remind them who are they, what they've achieved for a long time. And we are also bragging for being, despite all the losses that we've been having. I was reminding these boys that we have got the best away record in the league. In the league so far. Statistics, you just have to go and look at our figures. All the wins that we have, except this one, and most of the draws, they were away. Only got one loss away from home. And that note on ground cannot be a difference. So this is what I was reminding them.
Now, midfielder Kundai Benyu decided the game against Chicken Inn, scoring the solitary goal that grounded the Gamecocks. Benyu speaks on his personal targets and expectations ahead of the Moors clash.
We had a meeting at the start of the season where we declared what we want to do for the season. I won't say exactly what it is, but yeah, we want to achieve some things here. I believe, and the players believe, that we're still in contention for that. So now the momentum is with us, a couple wins, we're just hoping to continue. Yeah, obviously, like I said, the momentum is with us. I'm not really focusing on other teams, Moors, whoever it is. But I've heard, obviously, yeah, like you said, they're unbeaten. So yeah, it should be a tough game for them as well to beat us. But yeah, we're going there with a right mindset and hoping to collect 2 points.
Bikita Minerals may be flirting with danger near the bottom of the table, but their brand of football has been a breath of fresh air in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. At the heart of their resurgence are two men rewriting their stories with a strike partnership that has breathed life into the Lithium Boys campaign. Here's more in the following report.
Bikita Minerals kicked off their sophomore PSL season with a stalemate against former champions Chicken Inn, a result that did little to calm the nerves after barely avoiding relegation in 2024. Just 2 points from their opening 5 matches triggered early concerns, but the team quickly regrouped and began to turn heads with a disciplined performance. Now unbeaten in 5 matches, the modestly assembled side is playing with a newfound confidence thanks to a revitalized strike partnership in Innocent Masiwa and Tinashe Ruziwe. Once considered the nearly man of the local game, Masiwa and Ruziwe have re-emerged as shining lights, determined to make this season count.
Chimwe motivate driver team yangu basina kwatikaita ndizvongoitika zvingoni motivate vanhu ramajigoisa nevateammates angu vanzi encourage kuti take it one at a time but zvikubuda.
Masiwa, a journeyman whose career has taken him through Moors, Yada and Chicken Inn, has already bagged 5 goals this season. His experience is paying dividends in a team that's crying out for leadership in the final third.
Kushanda kunobatsira zvese nekuramba ne focus nezvanokuchita kuachieva ndozvinobatsira. Ndingotsika kufinisha ball. Ndingozvitemba ukuthi ndini fana kuti zvimubatsira teammate yangu teammates angu.
Ruziwe's impact is equally significant and is directly involved in 7 of Bikita Minerals' 12 goals this season, with 3 goals and 4 assists. The hitman credits team chemistry behind his fine form.
Chemistry team neyangu inini ndikukwanisa kuadjust yangu sometimes because ndakabva kuplatinum nebikita 2 teams ndinotamba zvakasiyana animukonda saka ndichitangosvika ndetosvika ndine style of play yangu yatosiyana nebikita Minerals, but I think now ndaadjust zvekuti ndakonzera sei ndakwanisa amaona.
The striker first joined Bikita Minerals last July and made an instant impression, netting 4 goals in just 8 appearances to help the team escape relegation. He's now hungry to pay back the faith shown in him with a push for a top-half finish this time around.
Matambiro angu inini team yangu vanotoziva kuti inini ndotamba so saka usually kana ndichitotamba bhora ndikasatoita zvavanenge vachida kuti alright ndikasatoita zvisiri according to my plans egame because ndine style of play yangu.
Bikita Minerals' primary objective may be survival, but their forwards are playing with the purpose and passion of a team aiming higher. Their next 2 matches against defending champions Simba Bora and Manika Diamonds could offer the truest test yet of their ambitions before the mid-season break.
Up next, Bikita Minerals travel to Shamba for a date with second-placed Simba Bora on Wednesday. In other midweek fixtures, Herentals clash with FC Platinum at Rufaro. which will be live on ZTN Prime. Highlanders are away to Manika Diamonds at Sakuva. Chicken Inn face Ngezi at Luveve. Tel 1 host ZPC Kariba at Ascot. And Scotland are away to Green Fuel in Chisumbanje. Now on Thursday, Log Leaders Moors host Caps United at Ngoni. Dynamos clash with Yada at Rufaro. And Quaker United battle it out with Triangle at Bata. Now, still on sport, Scotland head coach Tonderai Ndiraya has heaped praises on teenage sensation Tadiwa Chakuchichi after a stellar performance in the team's narrow 1-0 win over Quaker United this past weekend. Ndiraya believes the youngster had a great start and hopes that he gets more game time as he has a bright future.
I'm quite excited about young Tadiwa Chakuchichi. 16-year-old who started today on the left, and with some bit of luck, precision, or probably with some bit of experience, he could have scored a hat trick today. And he got very clear chances to score, but I mean, the boy had a very good start. Hoping that he will continue on that trajectory and get more game time. I feel if he gets more game time, would have probably found a gem for our senior national team.
And that wraps up this evening's news bulletin. I am Wadzanai Sansole. Good night from myself and the crew behind the scenes. We leave you watching the weather.